New Zealand decriminalized prostitution in 2003 and is the world's best example of how society and government can humanely accept and manage what is often recognized as the oldest profession. 5 years after New Zealand implemented the Prostitution Reform Act in 2003, a 2008 government report concluded that despite some community concerns, the PRA has been effective in achieving its purpose. The PRA decriminalized voluntary adult prostitution. The law distinguishes voluntary from involuntary prostitution. Coercing a person to provide sexual services remains a crime. The Prostitution Reform Act prohibits the purchase of sexual services from persons under 18, recognizes sex work as legitimate work, affording sex workers with the same labor protections as other workers. For example, in the wake of COVID-19, sex workers in New Zealand received unemployment benefits. The PRA establishes civil law, recognizing contracts between sex workers and their clients, allows sex workers to refuse to provide services at their discretion, establishes regulations and restrictions on advertising, prohibits brothels or other employers from promoting sex work as a means of getting off government benefits, and obligates employers and sex workers to practice and promote safer sex, allows local governments to establish bylaws regarding zoning and advertising, but does not permit them to prohibit sex work. The 2008 government study found no increase in prostitution since 2003, neither in the number of those providing commercial sex nor in those purchasing it. And since 2003, there have been fewer reports of street-based sex workers as many moved indoors. Sex workers now report violence against them to the police, which has improved relations between police and sex workers. For example, sex workers can call the police if a client refuses to pay them for services. There has been no evidence of an increase in human trafficking. Additionally, the Criminal Records or Clean Slate Act allows sex workers to have past convictions removed from their records, which has made it easier for sex workers to leave the industry. New Zealand is the only nation where sex workers are afforded human rights. Since passing the PRA, relationships with police changed for the better. Rather than being targeted and prosecuted, sex workers are now protected by law enforcement. Violent clients can be reported, and community health and safety have improved. New Zealand leads the world in protecting the human rights of sex workers and their communities. The United States needs to do the same. We should all listen to sex workers and stop the arrests. Learn more at decriminalizesex.org.